Then why don't you move to a different country? Why are you staying here? Young 10-year-old, very intelligent looking young lady, a black young lady who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. You know what I believe, Cornell? And I know you supported her publicly. I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father's is a retired military service member also, who served this nation well with great dignity.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman. What white people need to understand...
Just white people?
Yes, please. Let me explain. That national anthem was written by Francis Scott Key, a slave owner.
Oh, here we go.
Who demonized and hated black slaves and black people. Go research the third verse where he says, "There's no refuge in this country for the hireling or the slave. Both should be turmoil to the grave."
How's her parents do it?
This is a man
Are they successful?
that promised turmoil for black people to the
So
grave.
her-
Would you ask
her
Jewish children to
parents
say
are
a pledge
successful.
to a German
Okay.
anthem that disrespects Jewish
If
people?
they're
No, you
living
would
in
not.
Germany,
Hello brothers and sisters, I hope you are doing well from wherever you are watching from. Welcome back to the channel. And sometimes there had been a controversy of a 10-year-old girl who had refused to stand for the national anthem. So the host was asking if the child is not afraid that her friends at school will talk bad about her and all that. But remember, this is a 10-year-old child that they are saying things like this to. So, and then we go on and we find out that they are one of the best NFL players there in the United States still refused to stand for the national anthem, and instead he sat down. But later on, he went on and took a knee after speaking with one of the Navy SEALs and something like that. But do you think standing up or taking a knee is a bad thing when you are when a national anthem is being sung? So let me know what you think on the comment section. And if this is your first time coming to across this channel, please consider subscribing, like the video and share. It will really help the channel to grow. Let's watch this video.
So Cornell, I want to talk to you about this last week. This young 10-year-old, very intelligent looking young lady, a black young lady at a Pearland school who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. You know what I believe, Cornell? And I know you supported her publicly, but you know what I think? I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father's is a retired military service member also, who served this nation well with great dignity. She also has additional family members who was in the armed forces.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman who has had long conversations, as well as her father, about her not standing for the flag. What white people need to understand...
Just white people?
Yes, please. Let me explain. What white people need to understand is that that national anthem was written by Francis Scott Key, a slave owner.
Oh, here we go.
Who demonized and hated black slaves and black people. Go research the third verse where he says, "There's no refuge in this country for the hireling or the slave. Both should be turmoil to the grave."
How's her parents doing?
This is a man
Are they successful?
that promised turmoil for black people to the
So
grave. Would you ask Jewish children to say
parents
a
are
pledge
successful.
to a German anthem that disrespects Jewish people?
If they're
No, you
living
would
in
not.
Germany,
No,
sure.
you would not.
Well, sure.
That disrespects Jewish people?
Then
No,
why,
you would not.
You certainly can kneel down. In America, you have the right to do that. But what will happen to her, how her friends will respond, how the school will view her, how Americans will view her is very negative. This is not what you want for your 10-year-old child.
And let me say to that young girl and others like that young girl, America looked at the same way at Rosa Parks when she refused to get up and give up her seat to a white man on the bus. But history vindicated her. History vindicated her.
Two different
America
things.
demonized Harriet Tubman for freeing slaves from slavery, but history vindicated her. So I say to that young girl, you stand strong, stand up, and stand for what you believe in. And to all of those who are too coward to do it, don't get in that young girl's way. And others like her, support that young girl.
What would you like her to say to the men and women who have fought for this country like I ran into over the weekend? The black men and women who fought for this country and some who gave their lives.
And ask the black men and women who served America in its military, like in the Independence War. We helped America get it, and we were still slaves afterwards. Ask those in Vietnam who gave their war on Vietnam battlefields, but then came back and was called niggers in their own country. We have fought in America's war, and we've never been given the justice and the due process of everybody else in this nation.
Then why don't you move to a different country? Why are you staying here if you don't like it?
Let me tell you why. Because the country belongs to Indians. You white folks stole it from them, raped and robbed their people. This not your country. You all came over here and stole it and beat the hell out of them. So this not your country.
It was my country.
You all need to go home.
If you're
you all need to go back where you came from.
If you don't like it, why don't you pack up and go?
Let the Indians decide who should pack up and go. And I guarantee you black folks will stay, and you all will be on the first damn boat leaving here. So don't try that, brother. You all didn't make America. This is not your country.
What you should do is sit down with someone who has fought for this country, Quanell. Get their opinion, too.
Tons of black people have, and what have we gotten from it?
It marks about a year ago that we had a tragedy in Dallas, Texas. 5 police officers, 5 individuals that gave their life for their fellow man were shot down in cold blood. And here we are a year later, and we've got the entire Dallas Cowboys kneeling, disrespecting law enforcement. And Quanell, you know, I get that there is injustice in this world. I served on the Corrections Committee for the state of Texas. I've looked at national statistics. I have looked at separate cases around the United States. There is an injustice that exists. There is a justice system for the poor, and there is a justice system for the wealthy. And that's what we need to have a discussion about, not our police officers, not encouraging people to rise up in violence against our police officers, not dishonoring our police officers for the national anthem. The national anthem should be a time when we all come together, hold hands, and pray that God would unite our country, not dishonoring cops, not dishonoring the flag.
Calm down, dude, I hear you. When Colin Kaepernick first decided to protest the national anthem, he took a seat first. Then he spoke with a Navy SEAL. And in that conversation, the Navy SEAL suggested that Colin Kaepernick take a knee. And that's what Colin Kaepernick did.
Did the Navy SEAL suggest he wears pig socks depicting cops as pigs?
I didn't cut you off,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now, here's the problem with that. We talk about those NFL players, and what Donald Trump said, calling them SOBs, was an insult to all athletes of the NFL, no matter who they are, because if you take a knee, you exercise in your constitutional right to protest peacefully. But my problem with this is, do Americans understand that this patriotic display of the American flag in NFL games did not start happening until 2009, and that the United States Army through the U.S. Army through the U.S. government's approval paid the NFL millions of dollars to display the American flag and play the anthem? No, let me finish. Let me finish. No, you are a liar. The U.S. Army paid the United States government, paid the U.S. Army
is that they started doing that after 9/11.
Stop.
This started after 9/11.
They were paid to do it.
They were absolutely sending them there. I get that. This display started after 9/11.
The NFL got paid by the U.S. Army to display the flag. And what Donald Trump said was wrong.
Completely wrong.
What Donald Trump did was wrong.
I'm not defending his salty language.
But this patriotic display, they were paid by the NFL to do that.
Who cares?
This has nothing to do with real patriotism. This is about a dollar bill paid to the NFL.
It has everything to do with patriotism.
Well, why was the NFL only willing to do it when they got paid millions of dollars to do it? Before that, it wasn't no display.
There was a display. It started after 9/11. Watch
No.
all the NFL
And
games.
they got paid
watch
in
all
two-
the Major League Baseball
But
games.
they got
This
paid
happened
millions in
after
2009.
9/11. That's because
they got paid millions to do
that's
it. This ain't
because
about
they came
patriotism,
there
it's
with
about
a
a
big
check.
flag. They came there with a lot of people, and they had to be paid something.
What
That's
Donald
why
Trump
it
said
happened.
was ignorant and stupid, and the man
I'm
is
not
crazy as
defending
hell.
anyone calling anybody an SOB.
That's your Republican partner.
At first, those might seem like completely separate stories, different people, different circumstances, different moments. But when you listen closely, you realize they are tied together by something bigger: identity, justice, and the question of how society responds to black voices. Whether they are young, powerless, or influential and visible. Think about that for a second. A 10-year-old child still trying to understand the world, already facing situations that force her into a conversation about race, fairness, and how she is seen in the society. And on the other side, a professional athlete, someone at highest level of sport, making a personal decision during the national anthem, knowing very well the reaction it might bring. Two completely different positions in life, but both facing scrutiny. This isn't new. In fact, it concerns to a much larger history. Moments like this remind people of actions taken by athletes who also choose to kneel during the national anthem, sparking a national and global debate. That decision isn't just about sport. It becomes a symbol tied to protest, justice, and ongoing conversation about race in America. And that conversation goes all the way back to movements like the civil rights movement, a time when voices demanded equality, dignity, recognition in a system that often resisted it. So when we hear someone like Cornel X speak, it's not just commentary, it's part of a long line voice trying to make sense of what is happening now in the context of what has already happened before. But here's where things get even better. The way people react to this situation often says more than the situations themselves. Why is it that a child can become a part of serious national conversation? When does an athlete person protest become controversial? Because at the center of it all is perception. How people see race, how people interpret protest, how people respond to voices that challenge what they are used to. And in today's world, where clips spread quickly on platforms, a single moment can reach millions, shaping opinions, starting debates, and sometimes even deepening diversions. So, in this video, we are not just watching what we said, we are breaking it down. We are looking at what it means for a young black girl to be part of a large conversation she didn't ask for. We are examining what it means when an athlete uses their platform in a way that challenges expectations, and we are asking a bigger question. How should society respond when voices like this are heard? Because whether people agree or disagree, one thing is clear: these moments are not random. They reflect something real, something ongoing, something that continues to shape conversations today. The national anthem represents pride, unity, and identity for many, but for others, it also raises questions about whether those ideas are fully lived out for everyone. The tension is what makes moments like this powerful and sometimes uncomfortable. And discomfort is not always a bad thing. Sometimes discomfort is what forces people to think. But here's where the real challenge comes in. Are people willing to go beyond surface reason and surface reaction? But understanding requires something more. It requires consent, empathy, and willingness to see beyond what is immediate visible. Voices like Cornel X are part of the process. Whether people agree or disagree, they contribute to a conversation that is still evolving, and maybe that's the point, not to have all the answers, but to keep asking the question. Because without those questions, nothing changes. So as you leave this video, think about this. How do we respond when we see situation like this? Because the way we answer those questions shapes more than just opinions.